Hello, everyone. The 20th of July today, heralding the new moon, gives us another chance to address our emotions. In fact, it is a celestial order. If we don't listen to our inner needs now, we may not get another chance for a long, long time to get our lives back in order. We have 15 full days to get our lives sorted out in the best way we can or in the best way possible. With the new moon of Cancer, we need to tackle and understand the implications of Saturn, Pluto, and Jupiter, which are posited in the sign directly opposite, which is Capricorn. Now, Capricorn in the zodiacal chart wheel represents your career or how you can achieve your dreams. Like I said, this new moon in Cancer is exactly opposite Saturn in Capricorn. Now, Saturn is the planet of discipline, restrictions, and limitations. Being positioned in its own house, it feels very safe and secure, especially when it is in control of everything in its immediate environment. Now, Cancer is the sign of comfort, safety, and security. The moon in this sign can make you very moody. Yet, there is a great ability to just absorb sense impressions and not forget them. So, the Saturn in the opposite sign is just reminding you if you could make it that rare occasion to forgive and forget. The moon here doesn't think about things as much as it meditates on them, turning them and churning them over and over in the mind again and again. What do you need to do? You need to get up and move forward, leaving the past behind. You are going to experience a tussle between your mind and heart. Experience that tussle, but take your decisions. Do something, anything. Any action taken now will especially be good for you. It gets you out of your moods, and the things that you accomplish may actually make you satisfied, happy, and contented. Now, Saturn implies that if you're in control of your life in the existing circumstances and work around the limitations that you may be facing, if you accept and work around your limitations or restrictions, trust me, happiness and successful will not be far. Now, this new moon is wanting us to start anew, rubbish off the old resentments or the situations aside, and yet work with the boundaries or the limitations that Saturn has put on us. Now, having taken care of what Moon and Saturn wants us to do, let's tackle Pluto and Jupiter, which are also directly in the opposite sign of Cancer, that is Capricorn. Let's understand Pluto. Now, Pluto brings to mind purging, exorcising, and releasing the buried power or the core truths within your heart. It's the planet of destruction, no doubt, but yet it's a planet of rebirth also. We need to just destroy our old thoughts and create a new self. You need to discover where your Pluto is in your natal chart because it points, in fact, it shows the areas of life where you'll personally face the intense powers of creation and destruction. It's the doorway through which volatile, compressed pockets of yourself, your spirit, and primal energy lies hidden. Now, if they're released, either by our own efforts or by the provocation from the outside world, that will do you a world of good. Now, Pluto's energy is not going to be suppressed, and its power is often feared. So, this can put you in a showdown between your greatest fears. You come face to face with your greatest fears of being destroyed. and the pursuit also of the deepest longing in your heart, that what you need to do. So the ego holds to its defenses, but Pluto tries to urge you to let go and surrender to become a new person. So actually, if you see, when Pluto, Saturn, and Jupiter are confronting Moon in its opposite sign, Moon is in Cancer. Pluto is telling you to let go of. The new moon in Cancer is telling you address the emotions, forgive, forget. And Saturn is asking you to work around within the restrictions, within the limitations that you have. So while the energy of the new moon in Cancer is by no means less intense than what we've had to put up with in the last few months, the feeling of having no control has been replaced. It has been replaced by a realization that it is up to us to put our lives back in order. Nobody will do it for us. There is a reason why Cancer and Capricorn share the same axis. They're opposite signs. Because if you care, which the Cancer says, you also take responsibility. That's what the Capricorn wants. And you can only take true responsibility if you become emotionally strong. I'll just say it once again. It's very simple to understand. There is a reason why these signs are opposite to each other. Now, for example, today we are talking about Cancer because the new moon is in Cancer, and the opposite sign is Capricorn because the three planets, the Saturn, the Pluto, and Jupiter, are stationed in Capricorn. So, if you care, which the Cancer implies, you also take responsibility. That's what the Capricorn says. That if you take responsibility, then your care is complete. And you can only take true responsibility if you become emotionally strong. You can only have healthy boundaries if you feel complete within yourself and be responsible of all the actions that you take, which also gives you the power to be in control of your life. You can only set good rules when you care about those affected by these rules. You need to be responsible of also the other people, that when you're setting the good rules for yourself, they have to be benefit of the people around you. So responsibility without caring, boundaries without consent can only lead to abuse of power. So don't think about power struggles at this time. If you abuse power, since Saturn has joined Pluto in the sign of Capricorn, then you should also be ready to face the music, the consequences, because sooner or later you will be exposed. So ultimately, Saturn represents the painful process we all have to go through to learn our lessons. And this is exactly, we are learning our lessons. With every passing day, we learn a new lesson. Now, to do that, we have to first identify what's weak and needs attention. And secondly, we need to create supporting systems to protect it or rectify and rebuild our values, habits, and thought process. So we start thinking anew, giving way to the old ones. So the old processes held good till yesterday. Now we need to rebuild ourselves with our new thoughts, a new way of working as the new life is emerging. Without strong roots, that's what Cancer says, that without the strong roots, the tree cannot grow. That is what Saturn in Capricorn implies. So the new moon in Cancer says, start building and growing your new roots. Start building strong roots by becoming emotionally strong so that your tree of life will grow in a much better way. But now, how do we do that? Some people may question me, or some people may say, "Okay, I do want to change. I do want to grow up into a successful person, in spite of all these extenuating circumstances that we are going through." How do we do that? We need to introspect. Psychologically, we need to understand what the time period is demanding. take our limitations and restrictions, which is COVID related restrictions, and experience them as if there is a fence, a boundary, or a barrier that we can either understand or accept it. I would say understand and accept it as a structure, framework, or a playground. Confined within Saturn's walls, we will feel safe, even though trapped at the same time. Now, within the walls, we need to utilize what Pluto urges us to do, bring forth new ways, give birth to new ideas, generate new things. Now, there is, of course, comfort in confinement. With Saturn, however difficult the trials and tribulations, at least we know where we stand, what are our capabilities, what can we do. We know that if we play by the rules, we will be fine. We actually can even be tested for our patience. We don't have to be tested by other people. We can test for ourselves how much patience do we have. For Saturn says, once you recognize your own self, you can actually start building your success from that step. So Saturn also says you have no choice but to understand the discipline created by the planet. Now, once we pay attention to what's fragile and needs our consideration, we can find better rules and create a better support system to our existing circumstances. The moon in Cancer helps us to face our vulnerability. The Saturn helps us to confront our weaknesses. Only then we can transform our vulnerability into strength. If we take shortcuts, if we fail to take care of ourselves, if we fail to set healthy boundaries with ourselves and others, we risk becoming that power hungry, egoistic, frustrated, impulsive person who will only harm himself or herself more in the end. If we want to be truly happy and contented, we have to go through the process of self realization brought in by the moon energies, by facing our restrictions and limitations brought in by the Saturn for our benefit. In short, change your thought process and perceptions to make the best of these tough times. And the new moon in Cancer, opposite Saturn, is a great opportunity to do that. We have 15 days more to completely sort our life out and to completely organize it. If you actually maintain a journal that tells you all that I've explained, the moon energies, we need to address ourselves, the Saturn energies, we need to work within the restrictions. The Pluto tells us to break free from old patterns and give emergence to new ones, be more creative. And the Jupiter says, well, I am telling you, the Jupiter in Capricorn will definitely have something to advise you. So, but now understanding Moon, the Saturn and Pluto, and maintaining your journal will actually help you reorganize yourself. And now are the perfect opportunities to do that. Make an energetic start and discover the hints of innovation by discovering your passions, your hobbies, what interests you, what do you feel like doing. Nobody is dictating anything what you should do or what you shouldn't do. You have to be a master of yourselves. So, like the way I had promised, after understanding the moon, Saturn, and Pluto, let's also understand what does the planet Jupiter advise us. The Jupiter is playing a small role, but definitely a very definite role. It advises that Jupiter, while I am positioned in Capricorn, it says can be very good for businesses. Even though Capricorn is a sign of contraction and Jupiter is the planet of expansion, with this placement, you can make a big deal out of small matters. You can budget your resources with relative ease. You will actually realize, because Jupiter is also a planet of intelligence, you will actually realize what has been a waste and what has been a necessity. So you can declutter. It only asks you expand your thoughts, give a little weight to your mind, and understand what is the period demanding, and feel realistically positive of your own power. See that today's time, when Neptune and Pluto is in play, it is asking you to find innovative methods of selling your products, because all said and done, whether it is the consumer requirements, the food, the objects, the material things, they're all required for the people. They're made by the people, for the people, so they're not going to go waste. Only you have to actually package them probably in a much better way, and also think of innovative means of how to sell them. Probably, like they say, the digital marketing is the call of the hour. Realize the fact that by controlling and addressing your emotions, which the moon is saying, thinking innovatively and generating new ideas, that's what Pluto is saying, working within the parameters laid by the time Saturn, expanding intelligently and powerfully in your mind, Jupiter will help you handle your life beautifully and consistently in the most energetic, powerful way that you had never envisaged. Life is all about flowing like the river, overcoming all that comes your way, and joining the great ocean in the end. And what better way than to understand what are the planets asking us to do? And we can work our way around whatever limitations or restrictions we have. It's all in your mind and your heart. Stay blessed, stay safe, and write down your journals and plan your way ahead.